Hello, my name is Clayton Jacobs, and for those of you who are new to the YouTube channel of Help IBS or Help Iowa Braille School, I am the other administrator of the group. James Buffum is the chief administrator and founder of the group. But I wanted to take a moment today to discuss the importance of Braille literacy and touch on that. As a someone who is blind from birth, I can attest to the significance of and importance of Braille literacy. When I was growing up, I had some wonderful vision itinerary teachers who were mentors to me. One of them name was Kathy Davis, and the other one that really inspired me a whole lot was Chad Brown. And both were very well respected teachers and very skilled in the reading and understanding and application of Braille and of the technologies that are necessary to compete in today's workforce, the assistive technologies that make that possible. But I want to touch on Braille in particular in this video, since the reading and the literacy of Braille among blind adults and the competency of blind adults to be able to read it is declining on a massive scale. And a lot of that is that they now try to rush the teaching of Braille, where it used to be taught, or at least when I was taught to have to feel different shapes and different textures and to sensitize my fingers. And what Braille is, for those of you who may not know, Braille is a series of raised dots. There are 63 combinations of symbols, and there are 6 cells. And a letter can be, or a word is a combination of cells. And so there's what we call literary Braille. There is music Braille, and there's Nemeth code, which is the Braille for math. But it was my early instruction in Braille that allowed me to be competent and really expanded my intellect and intellectual capacity, and continues to do so today. I read Braille on a very regular basis. I can read at least 350 words a minute. I have been tested, and that is my reading level. Most blind people can't even read that level of Braille, and most of them don't even have that kind of aptitude at it. And many blind people who were not born blind but became blind later in life struggle with Braille, and the way it's taught now is not a very good reinforcer of how wonderful Braille is, and how Braille is such a wonderful language. It is English, contrary to what some people might think, but it is English, or whatever language that we may speak in our respective countries, or where we reside. But I wanted to touch and just share with you that because of my Braille reading skills, it has opened up my avenue to communication, to everything that I do in a new way, or in a way I'm so used to Braille, so it's not really new for me, but in a way that a lot of people just don't realize, and a lot of people don't realize how important Braille literacy is. Just to give you an example, I have a Braille note, which I'll take a minute to show you what that is, and so let me shine the camera on it. And you can see the Braille display there. And basically what this machine does is it allows me to, let's say if I want to go on Facebook, which I like to do Facebook a lot, so I can get onto Facebook and read with a Braille display versus reading with speech, because they do have speech technologies, and we'll talk about technology at another time. But they do have. But for me, I like Braille because I process it better than just listening to audio, and because audio can get me distracted. Not that if it doesn't really pique my interest, I can be really distracted from it. Whereas Braille, I'm plugged into it. Once I read, I'm off in my own zone, so to speak. And I also study law, so Braille allows me to be able to study legal materials in such a way that I'm able to understand and retain what I read, and that's very important to be able to do, especially if you're doing your own legal work and your own cases and things of that nature. So I read legislation on a daily basis, and in administrative policies or procedures or court rules, or I also go to church, and as a Sunday school teacher, I'm able to teach using the scriptures in Braille, and I love it. I also am a host on a radio talk show through blogtalkradio.com called the Marilyn Fraser Show. I'm not the and Marilyn Fraser is the main host. I'm just one of the hosts that speak on there. And the times for that are Monday through, well, actually Tuesday through Friday, from 10 a.m. Central to 12 p.m. And you can adjust that for whatever time zone you live in. If it's Eastern, it'd be 11. If it'd be if it's Mountain, it would be at 9 o'clock. If it's Pacific, it would be at 8 o'clock. You know how it goes. But I use Braille in my day-to-day life, and I testify that if we work to restore our Braille literacy in the blind community, we will see a sharp rise in the employment of blind people and the competency and intellectual capacity of them as well. And I want to leave this with you, just for some thought, and the Iowa Braille School would be a place that blind people can go, blind children can go and be taught Braille, because they do work on Braille literacy there, and they really stress the importance and significance of it. In the public school sector, Braille literacy and competency is kind of a self-study, so to speak. I really became good at Braille not only because of the mentor who taught me, which was Kathy Davis, but also because of my love for reading and my aptitude for it, and my aptitude for understanding various vocabulary and expressions and linguistics. And so I became a natural at reading and writing in Braille. And I was taught by Kathy Davis beginning about when I was 2 years old. I started on shapes, and then by the time I was in 6th grade, I was already reading college level, at a college level. I remember when they tested me, and the teachers were perplexed because they didn't know what to teach me, Um, I remember being in 7th grade, and they were having various, other students, using words that were normal for me to use on a day-to-day basis. I'll give you an example. There were students who couldn't even spell the word stomach. Well, I could spell the word stomach, so they would give me much more complex words, which I loved because it expanded my mind. I love expanding my mind, expanding my horizons, expanding my intellectual capacity, and learning new things. And I think that we need to, instead of stressing the importance of dependence on the bureaucracies, we need to stress the importance of self-sufficiency, self-reliance, and independence of our blind people. And Braille literacy would go a long way to doing that. I'm Clayton Jacobs, and I thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check out the Help Iowa Braille School links at the addresses that we've given in previous YouTube videos, as well as you can also go onto our YouTube channel, and the addresses of those pages will be listed there, as well as the petition. We would encourage you strongly to sign that petition, and we thank you for your support. God bless you.